Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday night here at Knox Makers. We put this event on every Tuesday, rain, shine, holiday or no, to show off what we're making, what we're working on, what we failed at, what we'd like help with. And it's a great time. I feel like I see a lot of new faces, so welcome to new folks. Glad to have you. And we will get started with our list of show and shares. First we have Mark Best, Framing His Father. Mark in here? Oh, Mark. Mark, you're on. Sorry, Ed.
I get to make an entrance.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. The announcement was framing my father, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Not sure how this is going to work. Okay. This is my father, World War II, came back, or maybe before he left. This is a picture of him, and you can't tell that, but it's bowed. And that was a style of doing that. So, first I needed a mat. I needed a mat that would cover this, and oddly enough, Michael's doesn't have any. So we have a laser. So I put together a CAD file and cut this out. So if you need custom shaped mats, we can do that here. This is cardboard. But I feel like I'm like Julia Child. But that picture had a curved piece of glass on it. Okay? You can't buy those, or I couldn't find one. So I said, hey, I'll take plexiglass and bend it. Okay? So while I was on the laser, should I be playing to any camera? Okay. So I built this little vacuum box. I don't know if you remember vacuform toys as a kid. I'm showing my age. Okay, so I built this box with this frame in it that mimics the shape of the picture, and put that on there, and a hole for a shop vac, and a heat gun. And theory is one thing, but practicality is slightly different. Okay, so that didn't work. Melt or plastic temperature of plexiglass is just at 300 degrees. 270 to 325, something like that. Am I coming through? I think so. Okay, so I used shop vac, heat gun, played with it, didn't come out right. So we're here to celebrate our victories and our failures. Well, yeah, this came in a 20 by 30 inch piece of polycarb or plexiglass, so I can have 3 more shots at it with the material I have available, and I may do that. But while, like I say, while I was at it, I cut this frame on the laser so I'd have something that would hold the proper shape for the glass or plexi. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. It was a style back then. It was like, when your pictures come out a little yellowish brown? Sepia. Sepia used to be a really, really big thing, and everybody had them and they were cute. And so fashion happens within photography also. You know, there's one where you get married and the bride goes out and she destroys the dress in a mud puddle. Yeah, right. Okay, whatever. Yes, sir.
If you had a 3D router, you could make the opposite image and press it into the hot plastic.
I have seen that. There's a company that makes body panels for, I'm going off message, that makes body panels for old cars. And they basically have a stylus on the top, hydraulic or electric, and a receiver on the bottom. They clamp a metal in place, and they drive it around, and they shape fenders for cars that don't exist anymore. So technology is getting really, really wild.
Like a big old stamp.
Yes, but it's slower, but it's faster than a guy with a French wheel and a hammer. Yes, sir.
So I was wondering, kind of similar, have you thought about doing like a casting sand covering that plastic and then creating a mold in sand and then putting plastic on top of it?
In my world, there's a law of diminishing returns and diminishing interests. When I took this picture to Michael's, I said,
Okay.
yeah. Any blood? No. Okay, so I'm going to have a deep picture frame, so we can tie in the picture and then just have the glass sitting. Yeah. So, yeah. Am I bleeding? Yeah.
You're bleeding. Stand up.
Okay. I'll surrender the table. Anybody? Any other questions? Okay. On we go. Can I get a Purple Heart?
I was going to thank you for the safety demonstration.
These are safety. Shields on.
Yeah, take care. Thank you. Next up, we've got Bill, who's going to talk to us about riding the rails.
That's a hard act to follow. I don't expect any blood or anything to top that. Although you never know how it's going to come out. I don't know if this happened to you, but sometimes I get something in me and I just have to get it out. Sometimes it may be a splinter or a sneeze or even a project. And usually when I get it out, then I move on. I just like to mess around with stuff, not really use it. But what I have here, something you might be interested in. Can you see it all right? Okay. So, any questions?
Is it rail legal?
Well, any technical questions, please? So that's the fastest thing that's been on that set of rails in a long time.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about. Were those active rails that you were riding on? That doesn't sound like.
No, I'll show you a picture in a minute. I'll show you a picture in a minute, and you can say, well, that's not active. So anyway, this is a little bit slower. Just so you can see all the moving parts.
How long did it take you?
I think I went through 3 or 4 iterations on that to find out what worked and what didn't. If you'll notice, this one is the wheels over here. All they do is just touch the top of the rail. There is no, this particular track, the gauge varied a lot. Sometimes it would vary that much between the joints. So I didn't want something that would hit that because it would be a jar. So you see the 2 blue wheels, those are inline skateboard wheels, and then there's some behind it, and that gives you alignment. There's a downside to that because a lot of times the outside of the rail has gravel up against it because the train, when it used it, only used the inside for the flange. So that can be a downside. But still, it's better than, those are the 2 methods. This one, you can't quite see it, but you see there's guide wheels here and guide wheels there. And that, I'm not sure I want to. These people, I don't want to reveal too much because, yeah, okay. So anyway, that's the alignment. Here's another shot. I've got a shot here of the close-up. This strut goes over and holds that wheel, and then it has a short strut going the forward to keep it from being pulled back, and a strut going up to the handlebars to brace it. One thing you don't want to do is go to the right. If you'll notice, this bike has a low frame, and it's because when you think about it, when you're getting on the bike's already this much higher. So you just don't want to go too high. So there it is in a little bit better shot. And got to keep it light because you're going to be picking it up going over trees. If it's truly a dead rail, it'll have trees that have been there a while, and so you just have to pick the whole thing up and go around it. That's a detail of that weight there is to try to hold down that side, just in case I get too crazy and want to lean. Well, let's say you're going around worst thing is to be going around a corner to the right. And if it's super elevated, then you've got a disadvantage because that rail is high. Anyway, those are skateboard wheels, or those are inline skates, and I use some skateboard wheels. There's the alignment left and right. That's the detail of how I've hooked the fork on. It's got a quick connect. Anyway, that's the bike I used. Relatively cheap. I think it's a Swin or something, but it's got that low frame, which is really important. Okay, this is if you can tell, this is abandoned. The rails are holding up the ties. And if you look down, it's about 10 feet down to a creek. So I guarantee you this rail is not being used. But I had ridden a few miles before I rode across that. I knew everything was going to be, there was a good chance I was going to make it. So anyway, there are a couple of rail lines around here. But now that's another model. If you'll notice there's a rectangular base. And what we're doing there is we're gauging on the inside of both rails. To do that, you have to have two objects on both, if you think about it. If you just had a triangle, this would turn on you. So I tried that at one time. It's not bad. I don't remember why I changed it, but anyway. That was just, you can see those rails are in pretty bad shape, but there are rails around here that, if you really want to know, I can tell you a couple of them that are abandoned. That's I guess that was maybe 2.0 there when I had the square, the rectangle. And I had for some reason I didn't do that, and I went back to just the one wheel over there. Anyway, so that was sort of a fun project. I got through riding, sold it for a small fortune, and moved on. Questions?
As you're riding it on the rails, is it quiet because of the wheels, or does it metal on metal?
No, it's quiet. The only thing is the guide wheels, are small, and they got good bearings in them, but there's still some rumbling because that's a hard plastic, I guess it is. It's running on that metal. And what you're obviously going to get a good click every time you go across the joint. But as far as the otherwise, it's not too bad. It's just a very, very small noise.
How long did it take you to build that? How long did it take you to build the bike?
Time is not a factor in anything I do. And time and budget start out, but they get, they're not necessary. Yes, one more. Any other questions? Okay.
How many iterations did you go
4, I think. How did I get the idea? You ever heard the expression, ridden out of town on a rail? Okay. Don't show hands, but has it ever happened to any of you? Okay. Anyway, somehow I got that in my head, and I said, I got to do this. And there's a lot of them out there on YouTube, but they're all kinds of variations. I've never seen one up close. Of course, a lot of stuff on YouTube gets edited so that it looks really good. And yeah, as you know, when we're doing stuff, we're right there the whole time. We have to endure the whole the ups and downs, so we can't hit it. Anything else?
Thank you. Next up, we've got Jonathan with a stand for a dog bowl.
So, let's see here. We've got two wonderful little fur babies, and as we all know, they require to drink water, and we have spoiled them rotten because we have elevated all of their food and their water bowl. So as you can see, the current elevation of their water bowl is up at caused by a box that I got from some promotional items a couple of years ago. So we just got new cabinets and stuff put in our kitchen, and this is kind of the space that we want to move that bowl to. So the idea is, that we make something that looks nice for the kitchen and make it feel like it belongs. But I also don't want to have to deal with any of the trim, and I want to paint it and everything so that it looks good. So we found some butcher block that my neighbor provided, and went through and just routed out the corners, made it look semi-presentable. I think I'm going to put a stain on it, and then made a box. And I started with doing this with pocket, or I can't remember the Keurig jig for screws. And I quickly found out that did not work very well at all, because I couldn't get the drill in, and so I ended up going back with a good old-fashioned, let's see here, just brads and some glue. I figured I'm going to paint it anyways, and look good. So that's my current, one of my projects that I've got in place.
How are you gonna touch the top?
It's a great question. With the screws, the Keurig screws on the bottom. But I gotta paint it. Painting's the next part. That's the part that always takes the longest.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Following that, we have Susan with amigurumi, which I'm excited to learn about because I don't know what that is.
Hi, I'm Susan. I'm new here, and I like to make amigurumi, which is
Can you move the microphone closer to you?
yeah. This. Can you hear me now? Okay. So, what amigurumi is it's a Japanese term for crochet stuffed animals, and they look like this. This is a little dinosaur I made. It's green and purple like Barney. And I started this back in 2001, and I've just kept going ever since. I've got a pretty wide collection. So you can make stuff like little animals. Here's a sheep. Gators. What? Oh, yeah. I don't know how to do that. There we go. Okay. So we got sheep, gators, octopus. Yeah, this one's cool because it actually has a pouch. You can put babies in it. Here's a bee. It's really cute. Stegosaurus. This is one of the baby octopuses you could put in the mama. It's pretty small. It's probably about this big. You can also make things like fruit. I made this fruit ball and hearts. And this is the first one I made, a pumpkin for Halloween.
Look at the screen.
Yep. Neat. And it's pretty fun. Sometimes you can have some weird things happen, like I was making a stegosaurus and realized it kind of looked like a nipple. And sometimes they can look pretty dorky, like this. And sometimes they can look downright terrifying, like this. But eventually you get something like this. Yeah, and he's pretty big. He's about maybe a foot and some inches. You can also make people, and I made Freddie Mercury. And here's a whole collection of plushies. I collect them. I've got squishmallows and crochet, and my crochet collection. And that's Buddy. Any questions? Yes.
Which one's your favorite that you ever made, and how long did it take you?
Oh man. Well, I really like the Freddie Mercury one. That was fun to make. Probably took me a few weeks to a month, maybe two. And I really like this one because I actually used 2 strings at the same time. So it's extra bulky. And I don't remember how long that took me, but it could take a while. The little ones, like these little dinosaurs, probably take the shortest amount of time. So like, I think I clocked myself making a Triceratops in like 50 minutes. Yeah. Yes. Oh yes, you get a pattern, and you can find a lot of them online. You can buy them on like Etsy and stuff, and I'm actually working on one. This is what a pattern looks like. So you'll get different parts, and when you work with amigurumi, you work in the round, which means you go round and around in circles. And so each round you usually do like increases, single crochets, decreases until you get something round and shaped and you stuff it. And my current project is a flail like this. It's not going to be the same colors. Mine's going to be a little more goth. But yeah. Anything else?
Is Freddie Mercury's microphone wire, is it like a piece of wire that holds it rigid, or?
No, it's just a piece of yarn. Okay, if that's it, I'm gonna go.
Very cool. I love the flail. I hope you'll show that when you make it. Blacksmith, makes sense. To clarify, Jerry. Did anyone who was not on the list have something you wanted to share? Yeah, Brian.
Had an idea the other day to make something new for my sewing stuff at the house, and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. So I made me a voodoo doll pincushion. You know, I like to multitask. This works.
Can you turn it around?
Oh, I thought it was going to be upside down up there anyhow. Okay. I put it up there on purpose upside down, thinking it'd be right side up. The hair was kind of by accident, but I kind of like it, so I kept it. I'm going to tweak the pattern a little bit. It needs to be a little bit bigger. It is a really pain to turn that inside out to get it stuffed. And probably, I mean, I know our after Tuesday activities are pretty full for the next couple of months, but maybe in September, maybe the fourth Tuesday of September, if it's open, we'll have it ready for an after show and share activity. People can make one, and then you'll have a nice little voodoo doll you can put your pins in at home with your sewing machine. Well, but the last one in October wouldn't be enough time really to have anything ready for that season. Amy? Oh, you know, it can be anybody you want. You know. I mean, the real question is did I put a name on the inside?
Yeah, that's kind of
That was the question. Okay, right,
who is that?
right.
I was gonna ask Brian if you plan to make one with John Dale's face on it.
That might be the one time he might not really want to put his face on something. Anybody else? Yeah. It could be. Nothing some paint wouldn't fix, right? And of course, you know, you get to decorate it by hand any way you want as far as eyes. You see them with buttons for eyes even, or sometimes a button and an X or whatever. And you can just kind of go crazy with however you want to hand decorate it before you start sewing it together. Okay, that's all. All right.
Has anyone else been inspired by these great presentations? All right, Mason, come on up.
I've been here like 6 months. Okay. So I am attempting to make a rapier. Oh, right, that exists. Okay, I am in the qualifier attempting to make a rapier. As close as I can to like a historical, 15th century Italian rapier. First time I've made a sword of any kind. It's going well. I need help. I am out of my depth. The biggest issue that I'm running into right now, I don't know how well anybody can see it at this current moment. The biggest issue that I'm running into at this current moment is that it is about 2 feet longer than our forge. So heat treating this is going to be a nightmare. I've already tried doing some normalization cycles on it, and I can't get the whole thing hot in one, even with a tube. So all help is greatly appreciated. Yeah.
What if you use the oxy-fuel torch? Like, you stuck half of it in the torch and then just go really fast?
Maybe. My current best plan is just have part of it in the forge, moving it like I normally would, and then have 2 people on the other side, or 1 person with 2 blow torches, just handling it on that side. And just double fist blow torches, and I think it would work. I have so many questions.
What about just making a big insulated, box to go on the end, just set up against the end of it so it'll trap that heat in there, it won't be open. It won't be quite the same temp as the other, but if you're putting it in from the one end.
Certainly better.
Into that area, it'll help not let it just completely cool down, and then you
Okay.
get it back out, it'll go through it again, and might normalize that temperature up a little more.
That's a possibility. Okay.
Talk to the electronic guys, you could also do with an induction. You could make an induction.
Ooh.
Entire length and then heat the entire
Second question, how do we make an induction heater? I know it's just alternating magnetic coils, but I don't know how to make that.
Wire on each end and plug it in.
With a light bulb relay.
That's why God made AliExpress. Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Won't have any way to answer this likely, but just a curiosity. I'm curious what traditionally it happened. Like, it would have a hole for it.
Mhm.
Wondering if they had.
Typically, from my understanding, if you were trying to heat treat something super long, you would have a big box full of some fuel, and then you would light the entire box on fire, which is technically a possibility, but it's a very wasteful way of doing things in the modern era. But it would definitely work. It did for many thousands of years.
I mean, you could just literally just get a second board.
That's true.
I thought it was just spending money.
Whatever happened to the old forge? Did it die?
It's inside, it's got chewed up by flux, and we got a nicer forge that we can have inserts.
Cool.
We
Is it?
we have a graveyard forge that's out in the building.
That 3-burner one might actually be long enough to do the whole thing.
It's about like that.
And this is 41 inches in total.
Yeah, it might be close.
That might actually be really
We can
close.
We can pop the building open and look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put two forges back to back.
That would be really fun.
That's what I mean, just have a second one, just design it, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that would work.
Because it's really just one big, one too small.
Yeah, super cool. Thank you guys for your help.
Anyone else? Keep them coming. This is fun. Come on, don't be shy. Yes, sir. Come on up. Or come on down.
All right, so got this little ring. I don't know how to work this. Focus.
Yeah, hold down the plus. Is that
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, that's good. So I made this here ring. It was a workshop, so it wasn't my own design, but it's a traditional pave stone setting. So this is like an infinity band, and I drew it up in CAD, and then I 3D printed it, and then cast it in sterling. And so you can see that little, there's like a blemish there from that process. And then we went ahead and we drilled holes for every single one of these, you can see. And then did another bit that's the specific shape of the stones, that these little 2 millimeter CZs, cubic zirconium. And then we set those in there. And the pave has to do with, you can see those 4 little dots around every stone. Those are the prongs. So you just basically, almost like a rivet, you put the stone in, and then you sort of compress the metal so that it squishes it around the stone. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah.
Except 3D printing, like typically I think of plastic with that, like how can it hold the heat up and surface up, or is it just like specific material? Or?
So the way that it works is, I don't know if you've heard of lost wax casting,
Yeah.
but it's the same process, but in recent years, there's been like a lot of jewelry makers have been trying to get people to make 3D printers that print wax or print something similar. And so that's what this was. It was something similar that could just burn out. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Yeah. I don't know. That's just what we called it. That's what it's called. I'm assuming maybe it's French. I don't really know. But there's a lot of different words in metalworking that are like weird, like cloisonné, like that's like an enameling technique. A lot of different stuff like that. But it has like the little mark on the E Yeah.
How did you
Yeah.
connect the prong to the ring?
It's cast. It's all cast.
Oh, it's cast. As the prong is
Yeah, but the way that you have to do it, so you cast them, you just draw them up in CAD, and then you cast it, and Lost Wax gets really great detail. And so these 3D printers were resin printers, which could print super high detail. But you don't need the prongs to be able to do this because silver's so soft. You just have to drill the right size and then take a tool that has a concave on the end of it, and then you press it, and the silver just kind of compresses to that. Yeah. Yeah.
So two questions. One, so do you use sand or plaster for your Lost Wax?
This is plaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then follow-up question, do you have any problems with porosity in metals?
Yes. So you can see that little blemish there. Oh gosh. I sanded this entire thing. Every surface has been cleaned. This is because when we were heating up the silver, we got it a little too hot, and mine was also at the top. We had a tree, so we had like I think 4 rings in a tree, and we were pouring up here, and mine was at the top, and so we got it a little too hot. So there was I don't know what you call that, but we were basically boiling the silver, and so mine at the top got more porosity than the rest of them. Yeah. I don't. Maybe. I don't really know. Yeah.
You say wheel, was this a class you took somewhere? Where was
Yeah. It was a workshop. It was in Maryland, actually. There's a jewelry center there. I met someone, and they invited me to go to that. Yeah.
When are you going to teach a class?
I'm not. I can't claim that I know what I'm doing. I was following instructions, but I thought it was a really interesting process. Yeah. I'm not there yet. Yeah. Oh gosh, that would go terribly. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting.
Shall we keep the trend going, or shall we move on to our final share? All right, I'm going to bring Larry up to talk about a cardboard robot, and he's going to launch us into announcements.
I'll just pile stuff up around here. So before I start, by show of hands, who is not familiar with Kill Switch, our cardboard or our robot competition? So you guys are not familiar with Kill Switch. Fantastic. Kill Switch is our combat robot competition that we traditionally hold during our not our fall market, but during our market events. And our market this year is going to be on September the 28th, I believe. I tend to procrastinate, and I've never built combat robots before, so I decided I would start early. And I started actually about a month and a half ago. And this is the very first combat robot I've ever built. It's cardboard and Baltic birch, and then of course the motors and all inside. I didn't like it a whole lot. It has some very specific design problems. One, as you can see, is if it ever gets in that position, it's not going to move again. The wheels are exposed, and then so on and so forth. I decided I would try another version, and to that end, I like doing my cardboard and Baltic birch designs in Inkscape because it makes it really easy to iterate and recut these things and modify them as you want to, and make replacement parts as well. This is what the top and the bottom of my robot look like in Inkscape, along with some miscellaneous pieces like engine mounts and things like that. These are the Baltic birch portions, including the weapon blade and some additional supports and such. This is what it looks like all cut out and what it actually looked like this morning when I started putting this thing together today. This is the hardware I'm running. And just before I came and headed in today around 5 o'clock, this is what it looked like sitting on my desk. And this is where it's at today. Actually powered it up this evening when I got here, and we were running it around on the floor, and it actually held together for the most part, and skedaddled around, and everything seems to work on it, so I'm pretty happy with it. So as far as the show and share portion, are there any questions about this?
Do you have a name for it?
Really original, it's Cardbot 2. With this being, mind you, Cardbot 1. Any other questions? Yes?
Yeah, so I'm new to the competition that you're describing. What's your weight limit for this robot?
Okay, if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to come around to that in just a minute during the announcements, because I've got a few things that I wanted to talk about in that respect. But yes, thank you. Yes, Jerry?
How many square inches involved in the furniture?
About 48,
How many are you allowed?
100. Go ahead, hit me on another one. Okay, any other questions? Okay. So as far as announcements, I did want to talk a little bit about the event itself. As I mentioned, it's called Kill Switch, and it's actually hosted in our arena, which is called Thunderdome, and sits just outside. Unfortunately, last year, after the event, the cover that was over Thunderdome blew away, and it took a bit of weather damage sitting out in the elements. It's since been put back under cover, and it's been repaired to the point that it's functional. The polycarbonate panels have been put back in, and it's been cleaned up. And to that end, what I would like to do is, for anyone that's interested, between now and the market, I would love to have like some informal competitions. And those can be in the form of combat, or as some other people have suggested, things like races and stuff, you know, that you can actually pit different weight classes against each other. So, you know, even if there's only a couple of people here and, you know, we don't necessarily have 3 or 4 cardboard bots, maybe we have a couple cardboard bots and, you know, a beetle or 2. And so those can actually compete. So if you're interested in any of that, if you would join the Kill Switch channel, and we can go into a little more detail there. To your question specifically about the different weight classes, and Isaac or someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think traditionally it's beetles and cardboards. But I'm open, or we're open to entertaining different classes if we get enough people interested. Over in the Kill Switch channel, people have mentioned such things as autonomous robots. I know that somebody mentioned sumo robots a little bit earlier. I'm game for anything that we can host in the arena, as long as someone is knowledgeable about it and can maybe lead it. So, and is your question? Okay. Let's see. So besides getting ready for the competition, if there's anybody that's interested in it and doesn't know where to start, we will be holding classes in the not too distant future. The classes will revolve around cardboard robots, so that's what you would be looking at doing. And in preparation for the fall market, there is work that still needs to be done on Thunderdome to get it in tip-top show shape. And so we're looking for volunteers. I have a punch list, I think, of the majority of the work that needs to be done, and there's a number of people that have volunteered already. Thank you all for that. But there's still work that needs to be done, and you know, it can run the gamut from metalworking to electrical to just general cleaning. So anyone that would like to pitch in would be greatly appreciated. Yes?
Is there a youth category?
I don't know that there is an age limit, not that I'm aware of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But to that end, we don't actually have an event scheduled as far as sumo class. Right now, it would just be cardboard and beetles. So, anything else? Okay, thank you.
shatter your day's work. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, everybody. We have a passel of announcements tonight. First off, I've left my collateral. Hang on. Please snap a photo. This is just a link to our newsletter sign up. Russell's been working really hard on pulling together a newsletter for us. It will be a recurring thing. And we've got our first edition just about ready to hit the presses. So this will take you to the sign up if you would like to get our newsletter, which we encourage. Fill in your email address, optionally your first and last name, hit go, and you will receive that email. And I believe there's opt-out, like I believe there are capabilities to opt out at any time you want. We're not going to use this to spam you. It's just to occasionally share some information about what's going on and, you know, what to do around here. So, yes. Russell, will you do that? Thank you, sir. I'm going to leave that there for a moment for anyone who wants to take a picture while I announce. We have had our hospitality ambassador, the wonderful person who keeps us stocked with food and beverages and such things, has stepped out. And Jerry has kindly volunteered to help us run hospitality. So thanks. Thanks very much, Jerry. If we ever run out of Cokes or ho-hos or whatever your snack of choice is, please go fuss at Jerry. He'll take care of it. I think he may have some plans to spruce things up a little more and help us get a even better hospitality situation going, and really appreciate that, Jerry. What's that? More ribs. Perfect. Next, I want to share, I'm pulling down the newsletter thingy. That's not going to display super well, but we're going to post some of these around the space. You've probably heard that we're working on a fundraiser to try to buy our building. Fundraisers take a lot of money, but they also take a lot of just help. So especially for people for whom contributing is financially is going to be a kind of a hardship. There are lots of ways you can still help us. We made just kind of a checklist. You don't have to check off all these items, but if you're interested in contributing, these are some ways that you might ask yourself these questions. Well, do I know, does my employer offer matching or other donation allowances? Am I a great photographer who could help take pictures to accentuate our website or other materials? Do you have connections to very wealthy people or influential or government contacts who might just shower us with money and make this all very easy for us? So I have a few of these. I won't read the whole list to you, but we'll post a few around the space and really encourage you, anybody and everybody, just take a look. Even just sharing word with a friend, right, or with some of your contacts that, hey, we're going to be doing a fundraiser and here's where we're trying to head with it and here's why, you know. We'll provide a lot more info on that going forward, but really would appreciate all the help we can get monetarily or otherwise. It's a team effort, a group effort, and we got a great place. We want to keep it. Yes, sir.
We have a monetary goal and time frame for this.
Questions of the day. We're still working that out. We don't want to set too high a goal because that will scare people off. We don't want to set too low a goal because we won't get enough money. we want all the money we can get. So we're still trying to refine exactly what we're asking for, and we'll be sharing details.
I'm also kind of curious, are you currently in negotiations for actually buying this building?
We're in contact with the owners we're exploring it it's not an exploration. You know, a year or two ago, looking into buildings was kind of a dream. Could we maybe do this? And we are now seeking very much in earnest to try to acquire this building. So, good questions. Thank you. We want to be here. It's a great space for us. We love South Knox. There are places around where we enjoy social activities, food and beverage, and we feel like we can contribute to this, continue to contribute to this area for a long time to come, provided we have a permanent home here. So, Next up, I want to, Larry mentioned this earlier, but we do have our Makers Market on September 28th. That's a Sunday from 1 to 5. We'll need lots of volunteers for that. We'll put out calls for that as the date approaches. If you sell things, if you make really cool things and would like to sell them, I think, John Dale, do we still have spots open? Yeah, you can still register if you go to market.knoxmakers.org. Please register to sell your things. We have a reduced rate for booths for members, and it's a great time. You get to see lots of cool stuff, lots of cool people, and yeah, it's a great time. I love it every year. So, next, I will ask Isaac to come and speak to us briefly about what he's going to speak to us about.
So, some of you, more senior members, will know this story already. Some of you newer folks, maybe not so much. Believe it or not, what we're doing here, this wonderful thing we call Knox Makers, started with a post on Craigslist back in 2011. A plaintive, hopeful, beautiful post by a fella who really admired the idea of a maker space and thought it would be so amazing if we could have one in this region. That post on Craigslist led a group of 7 people to get together to have a meal on Market Square at Cafe 4. And they agreed they were going to try and actually do it. And what that culminated in was people getting together in each other's garages and living rooms for a period of time. Something that I have a hard time imagining. Maybe you do too. I mean, it's kind of wild that they were willing and able to do that. We consider, I mean, it's kind of hard to say exactly, but we consider that post on Craigslist to be our birthday, to be the genesis of this organization. Nobody from those very first days is still with us. And so for us all, this is a matter of history and hearsay to a certain extent. But that was posted on August the 3rd, 2011. So that is our birthday. And this year we will be 14. I think that's pretty amazing. I really relish reiterating this to you. I can't tell you how many times so many people told us all the ways we were going to fail and that this was not going to work. You cannot run an organization this way. You will never make it. You guys are going to fold before the end of the year, and boy, did y'all show them up. It's pretty amazing what we have managed to accomplish together. And I feel disappointed and dismayed sometimes that too often I'm standing here asking you to do something or asking you to stop doing something, or I'm doing paperwork or taking meetings. None of these things are like super wicked fun for me. So this year, on our birthday, well, actually our birthday's on a lame day, that's Sunday. So what we're gonna do is on Tuesday, which is August the 5th, is we're gonna have a birthday party. And this is going to be intentionally as low a lift and as big a fun and as stupid as possible. And I hope that you will all be here to celebrate with utmost joyousness together. We have some silliness in mind. We're going to stuff you with pizza and soda until you can't hardly stand it. We're going to have a cake off, and so whether you can make a proper cake or not, I encourage you to make one. Let's see how many cakes we can get here and how much cake we can eat before we puke. And we're going to have a party hat making contest. And so between now and then, I would like for you to visualize the most ridiculous party hat that you can come up with in your own particular idiom, using the materials and supplies and techniques that speak to you as an individual person and that speak to the wonder of this organization. Anything that you can think of that you can make between now and then and that you feel relatively confident you can wear on your head for the duration of the party. I want to see some real stupid hats, okay? We will be saying more about this. We will be posting more about this. But for now, I want you to save the date. I want you to think in terms of not doing show and share, not working on projects, not being productive, not having any important or urgent questions. We're just going to act a fool together. We're going to enjoy and celebrate what we have accomplished together and get to work on your hats.
Thanks, Isaac. Tip of the cap to you for that lovely announcement. I know. We're on the home stretch, folks. Thanks for sticking with us through a rather epic set of announcements. I'm just going to talk about a few events, and then we'll close down or close this part out and head out in the workshop. I want to highlight one event in particular, July 22nd, after show and share, so 7:30-ish or later if we have a long set of shares. We're going to have a fire extinguisher workshop, essentially, where someone from the Knoxville Fire Department is going to come and present to us about how to properly use a fire extinguisher. I don't know about you. I know the theory. I know allegedly how to do it. I've never actually done it. And I work with fire. Like, I'm a blacksmith and a metal worker, right? I should probably know how properly to do that. So this person is going to come show, I don't know if it's a demonstration or a presentation, but.
They let you use it. I've done it.
Oh,
before.
sweet.
It's a lot of fun.
Sweet. So at any rate, we're going to learn how to put out fires. Maybe that comes in handy for the birthday party with all these cakes. I don't know. And all these hats. Maybe there will be flaming hats that we have to extinguish. So I really want to call attention to that. It's a great opportunity for us as members of a space that deals in fire to learn how to keep and preserve this space, which we hope to buy. So just a few more classes. On this Saturday the 5th, there's a blacksmithing authorization class at 10 o'clock in the morning. I know when I looked earlier, there were a couple tickets left. That same day, going on sale in 3 minutes, is a class for Nibblerbot. That's our CNC. What, Larry? Oh. The last time we had a Nibblerbot class, this is our CNC router in the woodworking zone, sold out in 30 seconds. So ready your phones and go ahead, get ready, because that's going to sell out lightning fast. On Wednesday the 9th, there's an embroidery machine authorization at 6:30 p.m. If you like the idea of making patches or sewing cool things on your shirts or anything else, great class to take. On the 10th, that's Thursday at 6:30, there is another Nibblerbot class. Is that open yet, or is that open later? Those tickets go on sale next Monday. That's and the classes, no, they go on sale at 7. So if you miss tonight's 30-second rush, plan for that one. Tuesday the 15th, we have our monthly cookout. Bring an appetite, bring a side dish or a dessert or whatever you feel moved to, if you feel moved to. We'll have plenty of food no matter what. So come join us in food and socialization before, at about 6 is when we start that. So stuff yourself full before we do show and share. And then on the 17th, that same week, we offer a new members onboarding. I've seen a lot of new faces. If you decide you'd like to join us, you will need to attend a new members onboarding as a requirement for membership within your first 30 days. So put that on your calendar if you're thinking you might like to stick with us. And the last classes I will mention for now, there are many more off in the future. On Saturday the 19th, we have a Moonraker class. That's our laser cutter. On that same day, the Moonraker is at 10 o'clock a.m. Saturday, the same day, the 19th, at 1 p.m., there's a Stitch and Bitch, which is always great fun in the Fiber Arts department. Bring your gripes and bring your stripes. I don't know. On the same day, that Saturday the 19th is a really full day. There's a crossbow class at 2 o'clock p.m. That's a thing that will etch metal and make cool things out of metal for you. A laser also. And there's another at 3:30, another crossbow at 3:30. I will stop there, but if you have forgotten these or want to look out farther in the future, go to knoxmakers.org/events. Join the events channel and our Mattermost channel to get a daily reminder of what's going. I hope to see you at some of these events. And finally, just very, very finally, I promise, new people, if you haven't had a tour or if you're interested in a tour, please see someone with a red badge after, and we will walk you around. Are they sold out?
No, go.
Okay.
Where is it?
I'll pat her for another 30 seconds so you can see. But if you'd like a tour, if you have questions about the space or anything, just find somebody with a red badge, and we'll help you out. So. Thanks everybody. It's great to see so many faces and so many great shares. And let's go out into the workshop and make stuff and have fun. Thanks.